Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 580 and Doubleshot number 474. 2 DC trades. First up, it's Titans, the Lazarus contract. Collecting Titans Volume 3, Issue 11. Teen Titans Volume, I believe, 6, number 8. Deathstroke Volume 5. Issues 19 and 20. Actually, this is 4. Yeah, Volume 4, and the Teen Titans: The Lazarus Contract Special. Now, the 5 parts, looking at this hardcover, which I got from Amazon, does show off which of the 5 parts. It starts in Titans number 11, which is Volume 3, and then Part 2 is Teen Titans Volume 6, number 8, Deathstroke Volume 4, number 19, then the Lazarus Contract Special, and then finally, Deathstroke number 20. Simply put, this is the second or third, I think it's the second crossover post Rebirth well, actually, it's the third one they've actually had officially since Rebirth happened. Because first was Night of the Monster Men, which is a cross between 3 of the Bat books, Tits of Comics, Batman, Nightwing, and then Justice League vs. Suicide Squad, and then came this. This was by far the next one. And this came out a period of 1 month. Also, prior to this particular crossover coming out, Deathstroke was coming out twice a month. And then after this story arc, after this crossover wrapped up, he switched from a twice a month schedule to a once a month schedule, starting with issue 20. Yep. And the whole point of the story is that, well, they're referencing stuff that happened during the Marvel from George Perez run with the death of Grant Wilson, who actually is wearing his classic costume. No, I think it's a variation of New 52 outfit. Let me show you off. Here we go, right in the first issue. Yep. Open up, bam, there it is. So basically, this scene just references the events of, well, I think it was New Teen Titans number 2, but I would say it's a remake of those first couple issues. Definitely say, even though it does feature the original Teen Titans, even though Roy Harper was not there at that point. Yeah, it's like they took that story and replaced, they decided to have in that story Cyborg, Raven, Beast Boy, and Starfire. Take out those 4 characters. Have the Titans characters take on the Grant Wilson character. Pretty much, it just basically, that flashback is just a remake of that classic scene. Also, one thing I'm glad the writers of this particular crossover, which is Christopher Priest, Dan Abnett, and Benjamin Percy. They keep in canon the fact that before that, Grant found out that Deathstroke was his father. He was a huge Deathstroke fan. And then when he found out his father that was Deathstroke, he became uncool. That's according to him. Also, for some reason, when he appeared in Justice League, he appeared wearing the George Perez costume. Yeah, he even did that recently. He did that just before this storyline came out, when he had to briefly stop wearing this costume because it was taken from him when he was briefly arrested, and he had to go back wearing George Perez costume, which I'm glad the fact that costume is canon. So, with this story, he's trying to use the speed, like as you see in the cover, he's using the Speed Force to go back in time to prevent his son's death. Now, with this story, it's just, well, the Titans and the Teen Titans team up. Of course, this is also taking place after they found out about Aqualad joining the team, which I have not reviewed that trade yet. Yeah, I haven't reviewed the second volume of Teen Titans yet, but yeah, I've reviewed the first 2 volumes of Teen Titans. Titans. Yeah, I've reviewed the first 2 volumes, the first 3 volumes of Deathstroke, and I've only reviewed the first trade of Titans. Now, why am I reviewing this now? Because I just got it. I purchased this. It's mine. Excuse me. Now, the artwork in the story is done by Brett Booth, I believe he does the Titans issues. Koi Prenham, Paul Paliter, Roberto Viziva, and Carlo Pachida. I think Pagalin. I think it's how you pronounce the person's name. I'm glad the fact they actually throw they have a credit here for Deathstroke, but they could have also said something about, oh yeah, Starfire and Raven, also created by Mark Wolf and George Perez. But just Deathstroke. I mean, there's no mention of the Teen Titans. Yeah, this is something that really bugs me about some of these trades, where they get credit for certain characters for their creators, but not all of them. Now, in the case of, let's say, Donna Troy, she's a creation of Bob Haney. Does she get, like, a credit here for that, or Teen Titans? Nope. Just Deathstroke. That's the one critique I have about this trade, is that, oh yeah, Deathstroke created by Mark Wolf and George Perez, and I guess who put this trade together decided, like, yeah, that's it. That's the only character given credit for its creator. I mean, yeah, the creators of Dick Grayson have been dead for years. You can at least give them credit. I mean, he was created by Bob Kay and Bill Finger. As for in the case of Roy Harper, I think it was, I have to look him up here. Yeah, he was created by the same person who created Green Arrow. He was created by George Papp. Yeah, George Papp created Roy Harper. As for Wally West, the pre-Flashpoint version, I think it was John Broome who created him. Let me look him up on here. I know that the Black Wally West, who does show up in the story, he's a creation of Roy Venditti. Now, the Wally West who's white in here, he was created by John Broome and Carmen Infantino. Yep, he's the one who created him. Let's see. As for Aqualad, I think that the second one, I think he's created by Jeff Johns. The original one, let me look him up here. Who creates him? Let's see. Garth is a creation of, when he was Aqualad, it was Robert Benson and Ramona Fountain. Phil Jimenez is the one who gave him the code name of Tempest. I think, I think it was Lilith Clay, yeah. She's a creation of Robert Kanier and Nick Candy. Let's see. Grant Damien was created by, obviously, Grant Morrison and Adam Kubert. Let's see. Am I forgetting any other characters who were created for these things? Yeah, because this trade doesn't give anything. Bumblebee, who does appear in the story, though she has very little in the story. Let's see. Who created Bumblebee? Let's see. Bumblebee was created by Bob Ratkins and Arv Narvik, along with Jose Double, who also designed her Bumblebee costume. Well, her first one anyways. But yeah, me listening to all those creators of these characters, it's better than this damn trade, because just Deathstroke. Because, well, Deathstroke is a badass. I get the fact Deathstroke is an awesome character, and the fact Wolfman Perez created him, but they could at least throw in here, like, saying, okay, Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Deathstroke created by Mark Wolf and George Perez. They could have listed that, but no, they just have just frickin' Deathstroke. I don't know why, but yeah. Also, it does not solve the little plot thread. Okay, there are two Wally West here. Yeah, this is a plot thread, okay, because they brought back the original Wally West thanks to DC Rebirth. In the case of this, they decided to just, well, kind of raise the question and never bothered to answer the question of why there's two Wally West. Yeah, as a matter of fact, in universe, there is no explanation so far of why there's two Wally West, because they brought back this one just 2 years ago, and this is crossover bothered to explain it? No. This crossover never bothered to explain it. I don't know. Maybe it's going to explain Doomsday Clock. Who knows? Now, Damien is usually a cocky, arrogant brat like he normally is. Yeah, Ben Percy kind of writes Damian to be very unlikable. It's kind of like how Grant Morrison was writing early on. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, Ben Percy is writing early Damian, not the way he was developed by Pierre J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. Yeah, those two made Damian awesome and making him an interesting character. Ben Percy writes him like he's like freaking Grant Morrison. Also, the whole thing about Wally, because of course because Deathstroke briefly takes his speed to stop Grant, tries several times, gives up, goes into the Speed Force, asks what he saw in the Speed Force, never revealed. And then the epilogue of this thing, it sets up 3 possible plot threads. One, in the case of Deathstroke, has him give up the idea of Deathstroke and serve to the Team Defiance in a page of his old book, which basically Deathstroke 20 does set that particular arc, which continues up until issue 29. Yeah, it's a 10-part story, which also includes Deathstroke Annual. In the case of Titans, it sets up, Wally's got this is the adult Wally, he's got a pacemaker now, which I kind of figured out the reasoning why he has that pacemaker. Yeah, it's Damian's fault. Yeah, Damian is the reason why he altered the timeline. In the case of, what happened with Kid Flash, he got fired. Yeah, he got fired from the Teen Titans. Very briefly. Because he's right back with the Teen Titans right now after a small handful of issues. Yeah, it only takes about 4 or 5 issues before he realizes, it's kind of like Ben Percy was regretting removing Kid Flash from the team because Christopher Priest picked him up and put him on the Defiance team, which he was there for pretty much most of that story arc, and then of course he's back to Teen Titans, which still to this very day. Oh yeah, and he's staying with the Teen Titans post the whole Justice League No Surrender stuff when the Teen Titans gets this new creative team. When Ben Percy leaves after 19 issues, and hands the book up to Adam Glass of all people. Yep. Let's see. The Deathstroke stuff is interesting. I love the way Christopher Priest writes him in the story. And also, Bill Wintergreen shows up in here as well. Yeah, and you get a chance to meet Aqualad and Wally, which is interesting. And there's also a setup in here of something that can be explored later of Aqualad working with Tempest to sort of explore his backstory. That by far has not been explained, and it's been over a year. They actually interacted very well in this crossover. As a matter of fact, I gotta praise 3 writers for actually having a lot of the characters have very good chemistry with each other, like 2 Aqualads, Donna Troy and Starfire. Let's see. Also, Kid Flash and Aqualad have very good chemistry with each other. Damian has got okay chemistry with Nightwing. Yeah, everybody's got great chemistry with every single character. Roy, on the other hand, despite being in the story, he doesn't do very much. But what happens with the Titans after this story? Well, that's when they bring in the evil Donna Troy and try to explain her backstory. Again, no idea why in the world that Dan Abnett thought this was a good idea, but that's the next story arc. Also, the Titans are currently disbanded right now because of some stupid stuff Dan Abnett has the Justice League doing. But this was actually a really good story. I was not disappointed. Unlike the Blue Goblin, he was disappointed at the conclusion of this particular crossover. Me, I don't mind it. I don't have a really big problem with this. I mean, yes, the whole thing with Wally having pacemaker, that's dumb. I like the direction that Christopher Priest took Deathstroke in. Teen Titans, I didn't like the fact that Kid Flash was fired from the roster, but he later came back anyways because Ben Percy is doing a great job with this series. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Great story. I do recommend it. So, as of right now, for crossovers wise, post Rebirth, the only crossovers I have not reviewed yet is Superman Reborn. I have not reviewed that yet. And I've not reviewed Dark Knight's Metal. Yeah, those 2 crossovers, have not reviewed those yet. So, yeah, that's interesting, though, that of the 3... Actually, no, it's... Dark Knight's Metal, Superman Reborn, and Super Sense Tomorrow. There actually are 3 more crossovers I have left. So, I'm effectively halfway through reviewing all the crossovers for DC Rebirth. Yep. Actually, no, I forgot. There's actually one other one. The Button. I have that one. I'm going to get that one soon. But yeah, so I have 4 crossovers left. That one's going to review in the future. definitely. But speaking of the button, let's talk about one of the series that head into the button, The Flash. This is the third volume of the trade series, collecting Flash, volume 5, issues 14 to 20. Now, there are 3 different stories here. One is, of course, Rogues Reloaded, which is a 4-part, which brings back the Rogues post-Rebirth. This is actually the first to appear in a Flash book since the storyline full stop. Yeah, so it's been like 2 full story arcs since they've last been seen. But at least I'm happy that Josh Williamson brought these characters back, and they are in the storyline that comes, like, 2 storylines that come right after this one. It's a great storyline, trying to do one last heist where they, of course, all get captured. Though, one thing I gotta praise for Josh Williamson is the fact that Heatwave is back to using his heat gun again, not shooting flames out of his hand. I still don't get why in the world they had the Rogues get actual powers. Yeah, though Captain Cold is basically back to use a cold gun. That was thanks for Evil. I also gotta praise, though, the fact that the artist actually bothered to put the characters, with the exception of Golden Glider, in their classic costumes. So, I gotta say, Captain Cold's costume is a bit of a redesign of his classic one, but at least he's got sleeves again. The second Trickster, who returns to the Rogues at full stop, he's wearing the same exact outfit he's worn for years. As for Weather Wizard, he's worn the same exact outfit since, I'd say, the 90s. Yeah, his outfit's never changed. In the case of Heatwave, he's back to wearing this outfit right here. You see in the back cover, he's back wearing this outfit, which I like this outfit. It's a great outfit. Golden Glider, it kind of looks like her costume right now for Rebirth. It's a mixture between her classic costume that she had before she died and her New 52 costume. Yeah, though it has skates on it, so that's a nod to the classic look. Also, Captain Boomerang shows me, but I'll talk about him in a minute. The Rogues Reloaded is an awesome storyline, though the ending of that storyline does set up a storyline that comes like right after the return of the Reverse Flash, which I'll talk about him in a minute. And the following story, Since the Father, it's a quick little 2-parter featuring, of course, guest appearance by Amanda Waller and Captain Boomerang. That is just Kid Flash finding out what happened to his father in New Suicide Squad #1. When he was killed off via an explosion, which, as far as I can tell, they kind of have confirmed that he is officially dead. If you wonder who wrote the annual, that was Sean Ryan. He wrote the annual, not Tim Seeley. Tim Seeley took over briefly for New Suicide Squad after Sean Ryan left after issue 12. So you gotta thank Sean Ryan for killing off the Reverse Flash. Of course, he is mentioned in the following trade. Yep. So it's a great little 2-parter, and the ending of it sets up the button with the return of the Reverse Flash, who remembers the Flashpoint timeline. Yes, he does. As for the last issue, this one also sets up the storyline that comes right after the Reverse Flash stuff. Yeah, it's like the storyline. Yeah, so you have 2 story arcs in here, setting up another story arc later on down the line. Though issue 20 follows up something happened back in issue 8, reveals that the character Mina is in fact alive. Yep, she is alive. As for how in the world she survived being killed by Godspeed, I don't know. But I gotta say, this was amazing. 3 really good stories. Though the ending of these stories does set up. Though the ending of these storylines does set up future storylines, like in the case of, well, the Rogues Reloaded and the standalone story, that sets up the stuff that comes that sets the Negative Flash story. Yeah, that's what those 2 are basically there for. The ending of the Since the Father, that sets up the button, which comes right after that standalone story. I kind of noticed that, though. It's kind of like, okay, they had planned for issue 21, so they got to do a throwaway issue just before the button. And I gotta say that the actual issue itself is really good. I'm gonna give this particular book a 9.75 out of 10. It's a really amazing book, and I gotta give high praise for Josh Williamson for bringing back the Rogues. Great time to bring it back. I mean, it's only about 7 months into the actual Rebirth, so I guess I figured, oh, why not bring them back? Now the artwork is done by Carmine Di Camito. Yeah, he's the one who does the artwork in here. Yeah, he's been pretty much the artist for most of the time in here. Now they have a few other artists like Neil Goggle, Jesus Marino, Andy Owens, and David Gavalli. Yeah, the cover is done by Carmine Demicali. Yeah, he does pretty much like all the covers for this entire series. He may not do the interior artwork for every single issue. He does do pretty much all the covers, and this is actually a pretty good badass cover. Now, I gotta say something about his artwork. His artwork fits a lot better here than it does on All New X Factor. That's probably the reason people didn't buy it, because they probably didn't think his artwork fit that particular series. It does fit the Flash. I gotta say that much for it. Though Howard Porter takes over right after this. Yeah, Howard Porter takes over as the artist for most of the period. I think he's still currently the artist in the book right now. Okay, so 9.75 out of 10. Amazing. Yeah, I'm glad the fact Williamson... I think the reason why Williamson decided to reference something that happened in another book like New Suicide Squad #1, which, if you're reading the issue, Amanda Waller during that storm, she was still thin. Now she's back being overweight. And apparently this is something really weird though. Apparently, according to this book, New Suicide Squad #1 took place a few months prior to this particular storyline. Okay, so that kind of does make sense, even though that it actually came out, the end came out a year prior to the storyline came out. But 3 really good stories. I can't wait to review the Negative Flash story. That one's hopefully going to be the next Flash trade I review. Well, Flash trade for this particular thing I review. Well, after, of course, the button. Okay? But that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be episode 581 and Doubleshot of 475, which is going to be it's going to be one Marvel trade, one DC trade, but both of them featuring women who are, one is still around this very day, though the series isn't being published anymore. The other one is a character who's still around, but not the person wearing using the code name. It's a completely different character. Those are one of my favorite writers, which I'll reveal who it is in next episode. Okay, but until I see you there, bye.